Greetings, heathens and heretics, and him. No,
Make your own words up.
yeah. Well, yeah. Put below. Welcome to Tregenza Towers once again, and another episode of the in the abyss, in the lounge abyss, in the abyssy loungy.
Lounging in the abyss.
Lounging in the abyss. There you go. That's what we're lounging.
You know what? Actually, let's stick with that from now on. I think. Yeah.
There you go. All right, well done.
Yeah.
Brought something to the party for a change. Right. So we've got an age-old argument, as most metal fans have, and it is Route One, like proper Route One, but we're going to try and settle an argument, aren't we? It won't work.
We won't. I mean, this, like we say, this will go on till the Earth fractures and civilization and the universe dies a horrible heat death.
Fuck me, that's a bit fucking bleak, but yeah, okay, it's fair. So Metallica, right? We all love Metallica. If you don't love Metallica, you probably shouldn't be watching this. So you are all free to leave now. The rest of you, stay with us. Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets. Now, like I said, it is Route One. It's pretty obvious that they're two of the greatest metal albums ever. You know, there's no argument of that. But which is the better album? Now, my angle on this is I'll listen to one, it's my favourite. I'll listen to the other, no, that's my favourite. But for me, deep down, it's, I think, maybe, possibly, it's Master of Puppets. But you're obviously all about...
Well, I'm basically just a little bit more decisive than Tregenza. So
yeah, but are
I
you?
know, well, a bit. But I know, look, I mean, it's an immortal album. It's still, that is in my top 10 metal albums of all time. This is the greatest metal album of all time as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and it's a valid argument. It really is a valid argument. But I will, look, I tell you what, let's start with why I think it might not be.
Okay, well, you know.
And it is obvious. It's the little bit in the middle. It's Escape.
It's...
And to a lesser extent, Trapped Under Ice.
Well, I mean, that's just taking it too far. I'm sorry. Look, the Escape conversation, that again, that's probably going to eclipse the existence of the universe as a conversation. Look, I like Escape. In fact, you know what? I love Escape. Even though it's an 8 out of 10 song, but it would be a great song on any other album. But because Ride the Lightning is just so utterly brilliant, it stands out a bit more as a weak point. And I get that. But it's still a damn good song. But this Trapped Under Ice slander, this is the first I've heard of it. And
No, I'm not knocking
impressed.
it. I'm not knocking it. I just think those two songs are a slight, and I mean a really, really, really slight weakness on the album. But
I mean, I'm sorry, you are skating on thin ice.
Yeah, all right. You can't just stop with the fucking puns. But I think that's right. Put it into context. If those two songs were on any other metal album, they'd probably be the outstanding songs.
Yeah.
But whereas you've got that, I mean, that first four, side A of Ride the Lightning is as faultless as it gets, right? And then side B starts with those two songs. So that's why. It's a thin argument.
I mean, ultimately, if you're talking about comparing albums and which is your favourite, you got your reasons. If that's how you want to judge it, I get Escape, I really do, and I'm just going to leave it there, quite frankly. My argument for it is it's their second album, and they're still barely 20.
I know
at this point.
that in itself is crazy.
It's disgusting. It really is. I mean, I want to hate this band so much for that reason alone, but yeah, you in some ways, part of me thinks there's. I don't even think it's a 10 out of 10 album for me because I'm very, very cautious with 10 out of 10 albums. Yeah. We've had this conversation about them out there. There's very, very few 10 out of 10s out there. Bands should not get a 10 out of 10 unless it is an immortal album. It doesn't matter how great it is that year. Full Marks is it's a knighthood, and that should come in, very occasionally. This isn't even a 10 out of 10 album for me, and nor is Master of Puppets, and I'll come to my concerns with it as well. But it's a 9.7. I think it's up there, and like I say, 21 years old. you're allowed a slight flaw. You're allowed a little
Absolutely not.
quirk in that kind of thing. And in some ways, that makes the album a bit more human for me.
No, fucking.
You know, just
Yeah,
a little bit,
I agree with that.
Bit.
Prick.
Look, I mean, if I can actually talk about why I love this album,
Go on,
really,
then.
it's like you say, you think of the bits I've just mentioned, but firstly, the sound and the production, and of course, it's the first one they didn't do that with. They didn't do Kill 'Em All with Fleming Rasmussen, did they? No. See, this is what I just have to. My memory's not as good as it used to be. First one they did with him, and the production is spot on. It just gets that balance between raw and melodic, but also advanced, because you compare what this album sounds like to everything else going on with metal at the time, and okay, it maybe doesn't sound as technological as other stuff in the Kerrang world, but from a metal point of view, it's on a different fucking level. It really is, and the gap they made between Kill 'Em All and this is a lot bigger than the gap between Ride and Master, I think, on a creative point.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Now, I mean, the quality of the songs, I can't even really say anything new. We all know how great the vast majority of these songs are, and that's it. They are absolutely timeless. It ebbs and flows, up and down. You know, it slows down when it needs to. You get your ballad stuff, you get your chants, you get everything else. But it's just, it is an utterly brilliant album.
The gap you talk about between Kill 'Em All and Master of Puppets is an interesting one, because they're very similar albums. These two, aren't they? They're structured very similar. You know, you've got your balls out opener. You've got your epic second song. You know, it slows down. Then you've got the ballady type song, Fade to Black and Sanitarium. It's got a very similar kind of, you know, just dropped something. But I get everything that you say about Ride the Lightning. I really, really do. But I just think that when they hit this, they just perfected it. Those little minor flaws on Ride the Lightning, I think, were wiped out on this.
Potentially. I think the songs are all absolutely brilliant, but I don't think any of them are perfect for me. I wonder if some of them could be trimmed down a little bit and go on maybe more than they need to.
Yeah, there's probably an argument for that.
Not all of them. I think a lot of them are just right.
There is probably an argument for that.
But like Leper Messiah, I think is the guilty party for that, possibly.
Yeah, I mean that's only 5.5 minutes. To be fair, I mean, Disposable Heroes is another 8-minute song.
Oh yeah, I mean that's you know what, that's probably the obvious candidate for that.
You know that is, but obviously Master of Puppets, you can't take anything off of that. I mean, they used to do it live by taking the middle bit out, which is just unforgivable.
You know, I mean, it does say something that you know that was the song that they chose to use in the last season of Stranger Things.
Yeah,
and you know we talked about how much of an an absolutely memorable classic scene that was. Even though I struggle to believe that Eddie Munson would have learnt that solo in the month since that album came out and that spring break, but you know, fictional flexibility.
No, it was all real. It's all real. every last bit of it. Look, my argument for Master of Puppets is a lot of it circulates around the title track. I think it's Metallica at their absolute pompous best. You know, lyrically, it's brilliant. The shift in mood in Master of Puppets is unbelievable, and you know the fact it's telling the story of drug abuse, the way, you know, the bit in the middle is the you know, at the very bottom, and then it all just goes nuts at the end. The solo is incredible. Just everything about Master of Puppets, the song, it's pretty much a perfect metal song. You know, it really, despite the fact it is 8.5 minutes long, it doesn't feel that.
No.
You know, because it breaks up so well. Yes, I get where you're coming from. Disposable Heroes might be a little bit long, and this is a bit of a controversial subject, but Leper Messiah is the escape on this album.
I can see that. But
it's a great song, you know.
Yeah.
But I still maintain that this is, or maybe is it? I don't know. Is it my favourite?
he's doing it again.
I don't know. It's such a tough call.
Well, something I'm going to mention. I think one of the reasons Ride just outstrips Master for me is the production, and I said I think the production balance is just right on Ride, but with Master it feels like there's there's a slight film layer of just the sound being smothered a little bit.
You're getting into proper nerd territory.
It is, but it feels like, you know what, this could just be a little bit clearer. I think if there was if the balance, if the mix was slightly different, and I think someone else a while ago, just in a random conversation, mentioned the production is a bit, there's something just hovering over it. But it's a minor quibble. It really is. I think it's still an utterly listenable album in terms of production, and it's still a brilliant album.
I think when you have to pick holes like that in any album, then you're in the territory of, you know, the cherry on top of the cherry on top of the cherry on top of the cherry, with a little bit of icing and the cake. It's, you know, it's mad. I mean,
I said this is my number one metal album of all time. I think that's 5 or 6. So, you know, it is minuscule.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you only have to look at that photo on the back of the cover. That just shows you where Metallica were. You know, I'm showing you. Well, they can wait. They can wait. But look, you know, you've all seen it. You know, they're sort of 23, 24 years old. You know, and they've done Kill 'Em All. They've done Ride the Lightning. They've done Master of Puppets. You never take that away from them. You know, no matter how many St. Angers they write, hopefully they'll never do that again. You can never take that away from them. And you include Justice in that, and you include the Black Album in that. But these two albums, it's just so hard to pick them apart. And I'd love to know what other people think. I mean, it is like choosing between cheese and cheese, but
yeah,
fucking two fine fucking cheeses.
I mean, it is a favourite child question, really, isn't it? You can't answer it ultimately.
Yeah, you can. Oh no, I didn't say that. But yeah, look, you know, let's have your opinion as well. Like I said, we'll never settle the argument. Of course we won't. But it's worth talking about because they're just two fucking great albums. And you know what? In an age where every Friday there's endless new albums that we all scramble to listen to, and this is the best thing this year, this is the best thing this year, my top 20 of this, it still comes back to stuff like this, doesn't it? So any excuse to talk about albums like this,
that's it.
Apologies.
When you see youngsters getting into metal for the first time for whatever reason, and they're just, you know, they're blown away by this stuff, and it's, you know, these albums are 40 years old.
Yeah.
40 years old. And yeah, you don't, and this is the thing, and back when we were, well, the age when these came out, when we were kids, young people didn't listen to music from 40 years ago. They didn't infuse about music from 40 years ago, whatever it was. And that says all about a lot of the stuff from that era. Yeah. So
they have it. Ride the Lightning or Master of Puppets, your call. Stick it in the comments below and let us know what you think. I'm sure it'd be no different to what we just said, really. But
yeah, be nice. Be nice, though.
Always be nice.
Yeah.
Always be nice. Before we go, don't forget rcbw.shop. Get yourself one of these wonderful beers. There are others as well. To the Pedalos, I'm a particularly big fan of this. I had a bit of a sesh on that once, and it's wonderful stuff. So yeah, check them out. rcbw.shop and order it online, get it delivered. Yeah, well worth it.
It's summer, get your tinnies out for the beach.
Oh, hello. Yeah. All right, that's that. We'll be back again soon. Sunday, maybe. You know, we'll still probably be arguing about this. So, you know, but until that point, thanks for watching. And stay Master of Puppets. Fuck off. Stay metal.